Imagine this. The night is black, so black you can't see your own hand. The air stinks of damp earth and smoke. Somewhere in the brush, something moves. You hear it before you see it. The crunch of leaves, the low growl of a predator that's been stalking you for hours. You grip a sharpened stick, though you know it's barely enough. Your tribe huddles close behind you, children whimpering, hearts racing. And then, two golden eyes flash in the dark. A cave lion, twice your size, faster than any human alive. This was life for our prehistoric ancestors, a daily struggle against beasts, against storms, against hunger, and sometimes against each other. But here's the mystery. How did they survive? How did fragile creatures, without claws, without fangs, without speed, endure in a world designed to kill them? Long before skyscrapers and smartphones, before pyramids and kingdoms, Earth was a battlefield of survival. We're talking about a timeline stretching back millions of years. Africa, the cradle of humanity, was a land of extremes. Vast savannas swayed with grass as tall as a man. Herds of antelope thundered across the plains, while predators, saber-toothed cats, hyenas the size of bears, and packs of wolves waited in silence. The climate was merciless. Torrential rains followed by searing droughts, lightning igniting fires that swept across the plains, nights that could freeze, days that could blister skin. And in the middle of it all stood early humans, small bands of hunter-gatherers, clinging together in groups of 20, 30, maybe 50. They had no steel, no houses, no certainty of tomorrow. Every dawn was a gamble. To survive, prehistoric humans had to face creatures we can barely imagine today. Picture this: a giant hyena, Pachycrocuta, weighing over 200 pounds, bone-crushing jaws powerful enough to snap a femur in one bite. Packs of them scavenged and hunted, their laughter echoing in the night. Or the cave lion, Panthera leospelea, larger than any lion alive today, hunting in coordinated groups. A single swipe could tear a man open. Then there were the shadows of water, crocodiles lurking in rivers, ambushing the thirsty. And towering above the plains, elephants. Not the peaceful giants we know today, but aggressive, unpredictable mammoths. Humans, fragile and exposed, learned quickly. Survival meant more than strength, it meant strategy. Fire became their first weapon. A circle of flame was more terrifying than any spear. At night, firelight kept predators at bay. It gave humans hours of safety when the world wanted them dead. But predators weren't the only enemy. The earth itself was ruthless. Imagine sudden floods swallowing entire camps. Imagine storms that ripped trees out by their roots. Imagine droughts that lasted years, when even the bones of animals crumbled into dust. For early humans, weather wasn't an inconvenience, it was a death sentence. Cold snaps during the ice ages froze water supplies, forced migrations, and killed the weak. Heat waves drove entire herds of prey away, leaving humans to starve. But this is where one of their greatest weapons emerged: adaptability. Unlike most animals, humans could travel. They could leave when the land betrayed them. They carried fire, tools, and memory. They told stories around the flames, warnings of places not to return to, lessons of storms survived. Their minds became their refuge. In a world of chaos, humans carved pockets of safety. At first it was caves, cool in the summer, warm in the winter, dark and protective. The smell of smoke clung to the walls, mixing with the musk of bodies and the iron scent of blood. Outside the entrance they stacked branches, bones, stones, anything to ward off intruders. But caves weren't always enough. Some were already occupied by bears. So humans built crude huts of branches and animal hides, roofs stitched with sinew, beds layered with grass. They weren't sturdy, but they were home, a fragile fortress against the storm. And with home came community. Here's a truth often overlooked. Prehistoric survival wasn't individual, it was collective. No single man could fend off a lion. No single woman could gather enough food to feed her children through winter. But together they stood a chance. They shared tasks. Some hunted, some gathered berries, roots, and honey. Some watched the fire, some watched the children. And when danger struck, they moved as one. The sound of many voices, many spears, many fires. Together, they were larger than fear. But survival wasn't just about strength in numbers. It was about love, about grief, about memory. Archaeologists have found burials, graves marked with flowers, bodies carefully placed. It means even then humans cared, they mourned, they remembered. And memory is a kind of immortality. The sharp edge of stone changed everything. A chipped flint could cut meat from bone, shave wood into weapons, or scrape hides into clothing. With tools, humans claimed power over animals far larger than themselves. Spears gave them reach. Stone knives gave them precision. Axes gave them forests. But perhaps the most shocking invention wasn't a weapon. It was the needle. Bone needles allowed them to stitch hides into clothing. Suddenly, humans could walk into the snow and live. While other animals died in cold waves, humans wrapped themselves in fur. This was the quiet revolution. Not claws, not fangs, but hands, and the mind guiding them. But the deadliest predator wasn't lion or storm. It was man himself. Competition over land, over prey, over water led to conflict. Tribes clashed, weapons rose, blood spilled on soil. Archaeologists have found skulls cracked by clubs, skeletons pierced by stone tips. And then a greater threat. Other humans, not quite like us. Neanderthals, Denisovans, cousins in the evolutionary tree. They were stronger, stockier, adapted to cold. For thousands of years we lived alongside them. Sometimes we fought, sometimes we loved. Their DNA still runs in our blood. But in the end, they disappeared. We remained. Why? Was it intelligence? Was it cooperation? Was it sheer chance? That is the haunting question. Comment below. Which part of prehistoric survival amazes you most? The predators, the weather, or the human spirit itself? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Tell me in the comments section the time and county you're watching from.